Hello guys, welcome to a new video where I will share with you story ideas that were cut or changed for the Paris part of Tomb Raider Angel of the Darkness. So let's begin with the ideas for the opening cutscene with Lara in a desert head gear and mouth covering. We would have an out of focus nighttime desert in the background. She removes the lower part of her mouth cover to stare fiercely into the camera. The second one would be the amulet morphing into the symbol, and that symbol would be the one that Karel has in his hand. Then we would have Lara's hand gripping a torn page. It's a fax page with Carvier's address on it. Another would be the alchemic symbol. We could possibly see Von Croy's hand, indistinct, but seeming to hold a gun and waving it about. Now I will mention some random ideas that I couldn't place them in a specific part of the story. The first one is that the chemicals from the alchemist's lab reveal hidden Nephiline images or symbols. Officially, Bouchard is dead, has been for years. This is a very complicated subject because they seem to always be changing this, but I guess that in the end they wanted Bouchard to be at least alive in the first part of the game and then dead in the rest. Then the Mostrum's victims get carved up to 5 pieces, like a ritual. Curtis knows how to read the hidden symbols on the Obscura paintings using the 3 period discs. I was going to say shards, yes. Curtis knows how to trans-Farsi using the discs. And Eckhart has at one time caught a Nephiline and dissected it for genetic material. The illusionist Rosic shouldn't have the ability to shapeshift. That should only be for the shapeshifter. Lara trails an Lux Veritatis in the sand to make contact with Lux Veritatis sympathizers in Turkey. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't understand very well this part. Different types of golem are possible. They would be blood golem, flesh, salt, clay, dung golem, and others. Lara is radically changed after Egypt and has given up riding. She dresses darker and has cut all ties with friends and colleagues. Her work keeps her closeted in the British Museum, and they thought about the possibility of her taking like medication, I think that was a bit too much. It was okay without that. Something within Lara has hardened, leaving her withdrawn and obsessively focused on her work, and they really compare this to Sarah from the Terminator 2. An avalanche of salt can stop Eckhart. The notebook can be edited to keep track of essential details and will be in Lara's voice as she reads it. They thought on the possibility to expand and give powers or a speciality to Gunderson. Unfortunately, he is super boring in the final game and nobody cares about him. People even prefer Janice. Janice is way better. We find out Lara escaped the Egyptian tomb when she revisits it in the Nephiline realm, and this would be in the last level, and they were considering introducing a new character, but they have no idea which character, apparently. The few remaining Nephiline have infiltrated key positions through the world. So for the intro, Lara would have more flashbacks when she looked in the mirror and remembered more things. We would see Lara's last scenes from the Egyptian tomb being abandoned by Von Croy, Lara meeting the shaman, talking to her, and being given the amulet. These ideas were applied, and a few years ago we had the opportunity to see these cutscenes, which is awesome. After that, we would get the first cutscene where Werner dies. In the first level, we can see that Lara loses her backpack, but we are never told that that backpack is actually the original one that Werner found in the end of the Tomb Raider Chronicles, and Werner gave it back to Lara. And I think it's a pity that we don't know about this in the game, because if we knew how like Lara lost a part of herself in that moment, you know. So I think it changed things a lot. Then in the Parisian streets, other characters like the kiosk owner and the herbalist can each one provide extra links to help Lara find out that Bouchard has a doorman guard that she will have to get past. At the kiosk, a newspaper that she buys reports the death of Carvier of the Louvre department, and she will also hear this from Janice and the radio broadcast. In this cutscene of Curtis on a bike, we would see an unconscious person in the place he came from. Apparently, he isn't very nice when asking questions. Like Lara, he's a very dangerous boy. In the gym, it seems that the bet would be different. Lara would bet that she could beat one of the guys, so it would be way more fun because we would be able to have a hand-to-hand fight there instead of like trying to find out if Carl or Zack is better, you know. If she wins, the trainer holds out her hand. There is a pause as everyone waits to see if the trainer will stick to the bet. With a snarl, he hands over his gold watch. Lara leaves without a word. They all watch her in silence. If Lara loses, the fight ends up on the canvas. She ducks out of the sparring ring and leaves the building by the front door. They all watch her and nobody makes a move. We would have an option where Lara keeps the box and pisses off the cafe owner. If Lara keeps the box, the pawnbroker won't handle it, and it can be used as part of the bribe for the doorman at Bouchard's hideout. And I really don't understand this part, like this last phrase that I just read. This is straight from the document. Some of these things that I'm saying, they are straight from there. And this last phrase let me really confused because I don't understand the involvement of the pawnbroker with the box. Like, could we give the box to him? What he would be doing to the box? Wasn't supposed to go to Pierre? Like, if you don't go to Pierre, it says that we aren't able to do something with the pawnbroker. So I'm super confused. I don't know. Maybe I'm just dumb. Bouchard is not an easy person to make contact with. Officially, he doesn't even exist, having been killed years earlier in an explosive street battle involving rival organizations and the police in Marseilles. There were a few different ideas how we would get to him. The first one would be when we found out that poor guy on the bed. He would make a terrible noise and one of the Bouchard goons or even the doorman would find Lara and take her to him at gunpoint. The second one that actually surprised me, no matter if Lara won or lost the fight with the boxer, the doorman would appear and take her to Bouchard at gunpoint again. And the guard, actually the doorman, wasn't supposed to be at the gate until Lara has a password or the box or the money. I don't know, I don't really see the difference of him being there or not. So she impresses Louis Bouchard by calmly handing over the handguns taken from his men. Bouchard doesn't have Lara killed at the moment, but like he's afraid that she's from the police, and she also doesn't trust him because he can be the monster, you never know. When Lara finds Rand's corpse, we would see a view of a shadow figure outside in the street watching. That would be Curtis. It would be on Rand's shop that Lara would find her camouflage outfit. Now, after all these years, I finally know where she got it, because it's a bit weird that she just changed outfits without seeing. In the part where Lara activates a trap bomb by accident, we would have to solve a puzzle in the computer. Lara would probably escape from that place at night, because they mention that Curtis would watch with special night vision ability. I think sometimes they say it's not ability, it's Google's. I'm not sure at the moment, but at least the ability, it's true. There were also documents where Rains wouldn't die. I will now read the alternative idea to get the things Lara needs from Rains, and this is that, anticipating problems, Lara has set a time device outside in the yard to create a diversion should the need arise. When she triggers it, Rand dashes off to investigate. She has a limited time to find and break into the hidden safe. She can print off copies of relevant documents before replacing them, take photos using a small spy camera, or just simply steal them. I don't think she would have like a small spy camera, since she was running from the police, so I think she would probably steal them. Whilst Renz is investigating outside, the police turned up in force and surrounded the place. Lara's device going off has alerted them. They pin Renz down, giving Lara more time, but not much. All hell breaks loose, snipers open up, Renz makes a dash for it, reaches the building, sets the place to blow up, and disappears through an hidden tunnel. Lara must avoid the waiting police marksman and find the escape route before a big blammy. So, as I mentioned before, I actually saw two reasons for why they didn't use this part. Because she was using things that she couldn't have, like the spy camera and the device that would attract Ren's attention. Like, she would only be able to get those things from him. So yeah, it didn't make much sense to have this option. So in the beginning of the sewers level, Lara is being watched again by a mysterious figure, probably Curtis again. What a creep. It's actually Curtis. It's always Curtis, but it's funny because it's on purpose in a way that you don't know if it's Curtis or if it's the monster, but it's always Curtis apparently. No weapons involved in the Louvre except for the tranquilizer gun taken from the pawnbrokers and a taser that Lara would get from one of the guards. If Lara gets caught in the Louvre, she is locked up in a holding room and must escape using things she finds in there. The player may be able to access real websites from the Louvre. There will be also images of the mythical Nephilim, the different Nephilim artifacts, symbols, alphabets, and histories. At the massive underground structure of the King's Tower base, Lara finds the engraved symbols on the masonry. These include signs she recognizes from the notebook, including the letters L and V left by the Lux Veritatis. Before sending his men to search the Louvre, Gunderson had watched a playback of Lara on a laptop. Lara heads for the guard's control room to see what is happening and to find a way to escape. Lara would get new weapons from the first enemy she would encounter, since she only have those like more passive weapons. She can also x-ray the painting to see a hidden metallic object or symbol, which Von Croy notes says it's hidden. Another different way that Curtis would steal the painting from Lara would be like this. Lara gets cornered and arrested by security. They stick her in a holding room. Curtis turns up posing as a policeman. Some diversion goes off. The guards rush off to investigate, leaving Curtis to take the painting in full view of Lara. Lara shouts to the guards that he is a fake. They take off after the imposter, leaving Lara some time to work out an escape of her own. To be honest, the original one is way more interesting. Bouchard has the Louvre painting in the car boot, passed on to him by the shapeshifter, posing as one of his own men, the doorman from the hideout. As soon as Lara enters the building, Bouchard makes a mobile call to ask for the cleaner and to say that he had the painting. Lara picks up the jackal head walking stick that we saw in the opening cutscene. It's hollow. Inside are 4 of the Obscura engravings. With the engravings is a fax from Matthias Vesley in Prague saying that he has the 5th Obscura engraving. One particular symbol on one of the engraving triggers a flashback of events between her and Von Croy. The symbol differs from all the others used by Heckard and appears only in Von Croy's apartment and in the cutscenes and flashbacks. This is because, as we learn at the very end, it's Karel and not Heckard who is Von Croy's killer. Well, I decided to see if this happens in the game, but all the symbols are always the same ones, so that makes even harder to know if it was Karel or Heckard that killed Ludwig and Renz. Another idea was that Lara would find the illusionist, Rosic, and his men cleaning the crime scene, and he would run and would leave his men to deal with Lara. Coming back to the cleaner, Lara would get the key to his car, and we saw that happening, but we didn't know that she could get a lot of new weapons from his car. This was perfect because Curtis had taken Lara's weapons. Unfortunately, in the final game we just had access to a few weapons, and that was something that always bothered me. You know, like the last half of the game you have less weapons that you had in the first part of the game, so it always bothered me because it doesn't make any sense. Usually it's the opposite that happens. You finish the game with a lot of weapons. She would listen again in the radio that Carvier was dead. I don't know why we would hear this again in this part of the game. I don't know. Then she just used like a GPS to display a route to Prague, and I believe this is all the things that we didn't saw for this part of the game in terms of story. Then we also have gameplay and story for the other part of the games, like the next part will be Prague. I thought it was easier to separate it like that. I've read a lot of documents that basically they are always the same, like some of them are just like half of the document. Then I got another one with a different name that I think it's something different, but it's the same thing but like the complete version. So then you have a lot of ideas that are the same. There's a lot of documents that repeat a lot of ideas, so it's been a challenging to organize all this. I'm always saying this, like, I'm sorry, but it's very complicated, and I hope I didn't miss anything for this part of Paris. So yeah, if I did, say something in the comments. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like to help this video reach more people. It helps with the algorithm. Tell me what was the thing that you are sad that it didn't make into the game. probably everything, but like the one that you really wanted to see in the final game. Also, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe for more Tomb Raider videos, and until next time, bye bye.